It's the burning Saab question. Are older Saabs better than the post-GM era newer Saabs? A lot of people seem to think so. They were said to be solidly built in only the way that the Swedish can build cars, with a pathological approach to safety and not a single part from any GM product anywhere to be seen, and certainly not a Vauxhall Vectra chassis. But then of course General Motors came along and ruined everything. Saab no longer had ownership of their own destiny, and they were forced to build cars in an inferior and sub-Saab-like way. Well, I hope that 56 plate Saab 9.3 behind me can't hear what we're talking about here. But the question is any of this actually true? And I've driven loads of post-GM era Saabs. I used to own one, and as I've said before, I bloody love a Saab, and my Saab passion has come from those newer generation cars. And I've never yet driven one of these older ones. So today I'm going to find out, once and for all, are the older Saabs better than the new ones? So this car, the Saab 900 Turbo Convertible, was the most desirable Saab of the 80s, of that final period of time where Saab were doing it solo. Therefore, I think this is a really good car to compare to the modern ones. Now, I'm very fortunate to be behind the wheel of something like this, because this car is absolutely fantastic. It's in really nice condition, and it's owned by the specialist Simply Saab, which you will have seen in the intro. They are based in Bristol, so any Saab needs in the southwest, they'll service your car, they'll maintain it. Also, they'll sell you a Saab if you want to buy one. So thank you, Shannon and Mike, for that. So how does it feel quality-wise? It does feel good. It does feel like it was kind of built to be passed on through the generations. It's not just a car for 10 years, it's a car for your family. It's like, here you go, Johnny, here's my old Saab 900, I'm going to leave to you. With the exception of a few rust problems, which at the end of the day, these cars are made of steel, which is a material that oxidizes. They are incredibly well put together and very well built. This interior, it's very familiar to me. It's where Saab kind of got their inspiration for the later cars, and Saab were inspired by the jet fighters that they were also building at the time. Now that's pretty cool that they were doing that, and therefore ergonomics is very important. It's very functional, and the idea is that everything's just here, up here, easy to access. The radio is just to hand at the top, and then you've got your climate controls and dials just below it, and then finally the buttons that you need most often, your air conditioning, recirculation button and everything, that's just there. So on the right hand side, the lights there, you've got your heated seat controls and your electric mirror controls, and the mirrors are also heated as well in this car, because this is the ultimate Saab. And you've got this fantastic set of dials which are really clear, and I love how they do the triple dials here with the turbo gauge as well as the fuel and temperature all in this one neat circle. Just here is cruise control, which would have been a very advanced feature for that time. Now, I didn't really understand what it was saying here, because it seems to say roto enif and then spiff, but I was reading it wrong. It's obviously resume, on, tip and off. I've got an ashtray just beneath the stack of controls. There's nothing down here. You don't have to like faff around looking down below. You keep your eye up high where it should be, out on the road. And then all you've got down here is the controls for the roof and your electric windows. It's got the ignition key in the center console at the bottom instead of to the right of the steering wheel like every other car in the world ever. And even though I am a big fan of Saabs and I've driven many in the past, you always end up going with the key to there and then going, oh yeah, it's down here. But then it doesn't really have many of the sort of quirks that you expect from the newer ones. Like, it doesn't have the night panel, and it doesn't have like the integrated handbrake that goes into the dashboard and looks all neat. But what it does have is the curved windscreen, which actually comes slightly across this way. It does have these really comfortable Saab seats. Now, Saab have obviously been really good at that for a very long time, and these are like of the highest quality leather, and I'm just sat in them and they're so comfortable. You've got that really weird shaped headrest which folded through into the new cars as well. As I say, the quality of the controls and things in this interior, they are really good, and I can see that, you know, the modern Saabs are not built in quite the same way. I mean, that was actually one of the big criticisms of the modern ones, was the sort of can hear them creaking when you use the controls and things, whereas that indicator's it's just really nice, and it feels like it's built to last. The door panel is pretty cool. You've got like a sort of luggage strap type thing here to pull the door shut, and then these big sort of heavy duty latches to open the door. The door does feel big and solid and heavy, and when you shut it, it's got like a very solid sounding close to it. It's not like sort of soft and damped like a modern car, but it does still feel quality. Underneath the door, it actually curves slightly underneath the car, which means You've obviously got slightly more sort of rigidity, but also it stops dirt getting on your legs because it keeps the dirt out and underneath. So let's start her up with the ignition key down here. Got the little electric aerial popping up there at the back because the radio's on, very 80s. What I want to try now, of course, is the roof, and that would have been pretty damn cool back in the day. It's electrically operated, so you don't have to do anything. You just push this button and it comes up over the top of you, like any modern soft-top convertible. Oh yeah, and then a couple of clips. Oh, it's really simple actually, just latch that on. Now it's double layered, and apparently it's as quiet in the cabin as the hardtop 900. That's very impressive if that's true. And you've even got a heated rear windscreen as well. So we best find out what it's like in the back of the SAAB 900 Turbo. So what do you think, backseat JJ? Oh yeah, cheers mate, no worries. As you know, I love the 80s. The 80s is the best decade, and this is, you know, one of the ultimate cars of that decade. So I'm very happy because also I can fit back here. I've got leg room and I've got headroom. It's just as spacious as the modern day SAAB 9.3 convertible that came out 20 years ago. I've got the lovely comfy leather seats, which are just like super springy and like high quality leather. I've got a little light here which turns on when you open the front door, like that, very nice, and a big speaker. But other than that, apart from the soft inner layer of this roof, which is lovely, and some rear seat pockets, there's not much else to speak of. Cheers mate, and back to you. Alright, cheers mate, thank you. This car is a good example of why some cars need seatbelt butlers. Now this car doesn't have one, but it should, because I have to reach round like this. Oh, it's quite far back. Not so easy to grab hold of. Okay, let's take it for a spin. The thing is, it's a real smooth car actually, except for the fact that you're going to see quite a lot of scuttle shake, I think, because obviously it's a convertible from the 80s and it doesn't have roof bracing, so the camera might struggle and we might get a little bit of a wobble going on. Now with this being the turbo, it is of course a 2-litre 16-valve turbocharged engine. So this engine originally came from Triumph, which is the good old British brand, which has long since gone defunct. But by the time SAAB had finished messing with it, it had a big Garrett T3 turbo attached to it, and it was putting out 175 brake horsepower, which was massive for the day. The standard Porsche 944 only had around 160. Definitely a quick car, 0 to 60 in 8.5 seconds. Oh yeah, and it's got that turbo kick. You've got a little bit of turbo lag, and then it just comes in at around 3,000 RPM and boots you into the horizon. This must have felt like a really quick car in its day. Great, you can really hear that turbo spool up as well. It's got that sort of whooshy turbo noise, and the engine is otherwise, it's pretty refined actually, pretty smooth, quiet and refined, like a good petrol engine should be. You can sort of tell that this was well suited to the American market because it was all about straight line power, good looks and the drop top, not cornering as such, because obviously once you remove the roof of a car, although SAAB did make a lot of effort to make the standard 900 handle well, it had clever double wishbone suspension up front. Of course it's going to be slightly compromised as a car in the twisty bends, but actually it's not that bad, you know, for an 80s car, an 80s convertible. It's quite impressive. It feels very well mannered. It feels like the steering's got a bit of feel to it. It's a genuinely fun car to drive. I think it's the fact that it's a convertible and the fact that you've got that turbo power to launch you out of the corners. And the other thing with it being a convertible is it actually still has a decent amount of boot space back there. You can fit things in the boot even with the roof down. Now obviously the roof does take up some space, but it's still a very usable car that you could go on holiday in. So let's answer that question. Are older SAABs better? Well, I don't think so. I think they are brilliant. I really love this car. It's fantastic. It feels like it's been designed to last forever. It was really well constructed. It's very quirky, very SAAB, you know, like no other brand was making anything like this. With all its unique features, its powerful turbo engine, its comfortable seats, very great ergonomics. It's a really fantastic car. You know, the later models, they did suffer in certain areas, like the quality of the interior materials and the plastics and things, the switchgear, but they still had that SAAB spirit, I think, because they were still being built in Sweden. They were being designed by the Swedes. Okay, they had to work around a certain chassis and a certain architecture of car, but I don't think that those cars are inherently terrible because of that. And I'm going to die on that hill with my opinion on that, because I still bloody love a SAAB, be it an old one or a new one. there's a place in my heart for all of them. And tomorrow I'll be driving the absolute opposite end of the scale of SAABs, which is the very latest one they ever made, the SAAB 9.5, final generation of that car that they only made for 2 years. And it's going to be absolutely different, completely different to this car. And that should be the next video you see after this one. So please subscribe if you want to see that. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.